are going to kick off with the wonderfully titled Cocaine Bear, which both Sean and Sharon saw in cinemas. So, which one of you wants to take away and tell us what this is about?
Is it okay if oh, Sharon can take it away? What do you want? Yeah, no.
No, you do it, Shawnee.
Okay, this is based on a story in the 80s, so it takes place in the 1980s, where there was a plane would come and they drop bags of cocaine into the Chattahoochee forest, and then to be reclaimed later. But an accident happens, and the chap who jumps out the plane and kicks all the stuff out the plane has an accident. So you've got all these bags of cocaine scattered around the forest, and bears are pretty curious creatures, aren't they? Really, so they're going to have a little snuffle around and see what's going on. And then there's a side story with you've got like a couple of school age children that decide to skip school and go into the forest to as they were supposed to paint the waterfall, and so off they go. The kids go into the forest. You've got a park ranger who's like really yeah, you've got a park ranger who's okay, but she's got a rather big magnum gun. So you've got all these characters building up. You've got the Ray Liotta, it's his last film, and so you've got these bunch of crooks, obviously, like that need to go to reclaim the stuff. Ray Liotta's like, we got to get this stuff back, and so it's all setting up. And then you've got a group of like punk kids that rob people and stuff, and so but then so anyway, it all sets up for this, like, oh, there's a bear in the forest. So you've got all these different groups. Oh yeah, and there's a policeman as well that's after catching them. And yeah, so I mean, it's based. Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, Sean, I don't have that much time. I just have to say that every time, without fail, whenever I hear the premise of this film, I just break out in a grin. It's just it's just hilarious.
Well,
as a premise.
Put it this way: I went to see it on Monday, and then a couple of friends were going to see it on Tuesday, and so I went with them to watch it again. So I have actually seen it twice.
Oh yeah.
In succession of days, yeah, and it's just hokum fun. It's just like hokum fun. It's pretty, I mean, you've got like I think it's in the trade as well, but you got like the it's very bloody. There's a lot of a lot of limbs flying about and all that.
There's a lot of shots in the trailer that you're like, there is no way that does not end with somebody's limb being ripped off. There's no way you're editing that in which that doesn't end with that character being dead.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know me, my little foibles with like things that have got to be right. Well, I thought this was, and all right, maybe some of the characters were overdone, but I quite liked it because I thought some of the things that were happening could actually happen, and I could relate to some of those characters. In fact, what was really funny yesterday, when I come out of Tuesday, was when I come out of the cinema, there were some ex-students who looked just like the punks in the forest, and it was quite funny. I said they could have been in that movie, and they were like, yeah, they were really friendly, obviously, but and
I can just imagine Sean going, "Oh, when I was a teacher, if only I had a bear that was fueled on cocaine." The students.
I had a great time with this movie. I really did. I mean, I was a bit skeptical. I thought, what's going on? But I had a really, really good time. I was laughing, especially with the bear. I thought it was terrifically well done. I don't know what Sharon's thoughts were on it, and don't know what.
Okay, so
I haven't. Yeah, I saw it as well. I thought it was very funny, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's hilarious.
There were some scenes with the sort of the ranger, and some of the scenes were just, they weren't generally laugh out loud funnies. I think at one point I was the only one laughing in the cinema because it just one scene particularly where someone got shot by mistake.
Yeah,
that's just really funny.
I tell you what comes to mind. I don't suppose any of you guys have ever seen Sausage Party, have you?
Oh, I have totally seen Sausage. I have seen Sausage Party. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the bit with if you imagine, do you remember the bit with like the little bit of chewing gum in the wheelchair? And it comes out, goes do, and he's like, no, you probably don't remember that bit, but anyway, it's like that. Yeah. So no. But yeah, that reminded me.
There were some funny scenes in it. The characters were a real mixed bunch.
Yeah.
Some of them were more comic than others. Like there's like a wildlife surveyor who was He was just like a panto sort of character.
He was really,
But
yeah.
He was, yeah. It was funny because part of me was thinking, is this supposed to be this funny, or is it just accidentally this funny? But I think, I think it was like this black sort of horror comedy. But I thought it was funny.
I think the leg bit was the best with the bear, you know, and the cocaine. It was almost like, yeah, you know, that's funny, man. I'm not big on thing, but yeah, I laughed both times I saw this, and I laughed.
I'm really, really happy to hear that, because I had high hopes for this film, and so far the reviews have not been that great. So like,
oh right, okay.
Yeah, the reviews have not been that great. So I'm actually really, really happy to hear this, because I was thinking that I was hoping it was not going to be another one of those wastes of a great premise. Like Sean, you know, the last time we recorded, I was talking about how like there was a TV show that had a great premise that wasted it. I was hoping this wasn't going to be a waste of a great premise. So with this, I know that it has like
Funny enough you say that, Toes. Bad reviews. I mean, I got the IMDb thing up at me, and I was just sort of got it up because I thought I'm sat by a computer, and it's like 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
Oh, cool. So audience score is quite high.
9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Unexpected, incredible, funny movie that does not insult intelligence.
All right,
so that's what I like. That is what I like.
All right, cool. And because it has this big, massive, sprawling, diverse cast, and it always made me think of when I saw the cast and I saw some of the trailers, it made me think of like a Coen Brothers movie, like Fargo or something like that, only with bear fueled on cocaine in the middle of it. Does that hold or not?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I think Fargo's an overrated movie. It's one of my overrated films.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
You know, everybody raves about it. I don't think it's that good. The best Coen Brother film, I think, was The Man That Never Was. I think something like that. But
The Man Who Wasn't There. Yeah.
The Man Who Wasn't There. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the best. But yeah, no, I think it's highly overrated, Fargo. So yeah, no, this is far out past Fargo. I didn't really laugh too much in Fargo, but this, I was like enjoying it every minute of it. Even at the end, because you got like a family of bears, haven't you? Which sort of, and towards the end, you got like a family of bears, and you've got the mum and the 2 kids. So it's almost like I don't know, position. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in this movie, and because it's 80s, the fashions are really good, and it just was like, yeah, this is, you know, they were a bit exaggerated, but you could definitely see it. The 80s, it had that real 80s feel about it.
All right. Okay. So how many stars does all this enjoyment translate to?
Well, for me, from a personal point, I mean, I don't know if it's worth it, but for me, from a personal point of view, I've got to give this 4 because I've seen it twice, and both times I thoroughly enjoyed it. So this has to get a 4 from me.
All right, Sharon.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was very funny, but I'd give it a 3. I think it was, it's funny. I enjoyed it. Yeah, but it is what it is. It was, it was like a cross between.
So you're laughing now, Sharon. That doesn't happen very often. If you can come out of a movie still chuckling, and then get nearly home, and then you can start chuckling again with bits, and then you know, especially the legs.
Some funny moments, well, there was a couple of leg incidents. There was one, I think. Well, there's a few like sort of body horror moments where people sort of like see limbs missing, and they sort of go.
And what about the ambulance one? What about the ambulance?
The ambulance,
I have heard about this ambulance scene. I've heard about this. Like people say that it's like the best action set piece in the film. All right, I look forward to when my family lets me out of the house, when I can sort of like, you know, squirrel a couple of hours. I look forward to hopefully maybe seeing Cocaine Bear. So that's Cocaine Bear. 3.5 stars is our aggregate score for that. And now we go over to Netflix